I used to feel overwhelmed by every little setback, like my mind was a house of cards waiting to collapse at the slightest breeze. For years, I thought mental toughness was something people were just born with, like a secret superpower I'd never have. If someone told me that becoming mentally invincible in just 7 days was possible, and without grinding myself to exhaustion, I probably would have laughed it off. But the truth is that mental strength isn't about pushing harder or trying more. It's about rewiring your approach in ways that feel almost effortless. So if you want to feel calm in chaos, confident in uncertainty, and steady no matter what's thrown your way, stay with me because these 7 simple yet profound shifts rewired my mind, and they can change yours too. 1. Start with your morning mindset. I used to wake up rushing, checking my phone, and scrolling through bad news or social media drama first thing. That set a tone of anxiety and overwhelm for the entire day, like I was already behind before it even started. Everything changed when I decided instead to spend just 5 minutes right after waking up in silence, focusing on my breath and setting one calm intention for the day. I know it sounds almost too simple or too little to matter, but that quiet moment before the noise floods in acts like a mental firewall, protecting your mind from unnecessary stress before it begins. Try this tomorrow morning. When you open your eyes, don't reach for your phone. Instead, breathe deeply 3 times and say quietly, "Today, I will handle what I can and let go of what I can't." That small habit will anchor your mind in calmness right away. 2. Practice the art of mental detachment from negative thoughts. I used to get caught in spirals of self-doubt, replaying mistakes or anxieties repeatedly, thinking if I fixated enough, I'd figure out solutions. The problem was, the harder I stared at those thoughts, the stronger and more overwhelming they became, dragging me down emotionally. The moment that changed everything was when I learned about thought observe and release, a simple mindfulness technique where you imagine your thoughts as clouds passing by in the sky. You don't fight them, you just notice them, label them worry or fear, and then gently watch them float away without attaching meaning. The crazy part, it worked like magic. I felt my mind unclench after a few days, and I wasn't trapped by my own negativity anymore. Start small. When a stressful thought hits, pause and say to yourself, "That's just a thought. I don't have to believe it." Visualize it drifting away and keep moving forward. 3. Reframe failure as feedback, not defeat. For a long time, I saw failure as proof I wasn't good enough or that I should give up. Every mistake made me feel shattered, like my identity was crumbling. That narrative eroded my confidence so much that I stopped trying new things for fear of failing. But once I understood that failure isn't a dead end but a stepping stone, essential data for growth, my entire perspective shifted. I started writing down what I learned every time something went wrong. Rather than memorizing what I did wrong, it became like debugging your brain's software instead of blaming the hardware. More importantly, I began to see failure as a sign I was expanding my limits, which actually made me excited to take risks. Try this now. After any setback, quickly jot down one thing you learned and one action to improve tomorrow. This simple reflection rewires your brain to embrace challenges instead of fearing them. 4. Design your environment to support mental toughness. I didn't realize how much my surroundings influenced my mindset until I noticed I got distracted or demotivated around clutter, negative people, or noisy spaces. Everything changed when I made a deliberate effort to clear my workspace, spend more time with positive friends, and limit the news I consumed. That shift felt like resetting my internal compass. Suddenly, it was easier to focus, stay calm, and feel energized. Scientific studies show that our environment subtly shapes our neural pathways, reinforcing certain habits and mindsets without us noticing. Here's the thing. Mental invincibility isn't just internal. It's built by the ecosystem around you. The challenge is, start today by identifying one change in your environment that reduces stress or distraction. It might be decluttering your phone apps, going for a walk in nature, or spending 5 minutes with someone who lifts you up. 5. Master the pause before reaction. I used to react immediately whenever I felt criticized, stressed, or pressured, which led to regrettable words said in anger or panic. That pattern shredded my relationships and zapped my energy. Then I discovered the power of a pause, a mental space between stimulus and response. Instead of reacting on autopilot, I counted to 10, focused on my breathing, or simply asked myself, "What's the best response right now?" It was hard at First, because it felt unnatural to interrupt my instincts, but slowly it became a lifeline. The space I created before responding was like armor for my mind, preventing emotional hijacking and keeping me steady. Try this now. Next time you feel triggered, pause and take a slow breath before saying a word. That moment can transform your mental resilience and your relationships. 6. Embrace imperfection as a mindset. I used to believe perfect needed to come first, that everything I did had to be flawless or it was worthless. That pressure created anxiety, procrastination, and a fear of showing up as myself. But what helped me most was adopting the mindset that growth and progress are messy and imperfect by nature. This shift came from sharing a half-finished project with friends and realizing their support wasn't based on perfection, but authenticity and effort. It felt like taking off a heavy disguise. More importantly, studies show that embracing imperfection lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and helps us bounce back faster from setbacks. The challenge is simple. Try doing one thing imperfectly today, whether it's a conversation, a creative project, or a workout, and notice how freeing it feels. 7. Fuel your mind with positive energy daily. I was so used to absorbing negativity from news, social media dramas, or self-critical thoughts that my mental energy tank was always close to empty. That changed when I created a mental diet by deliberately choosing uplifting podcasts, motivational books, and inspirational conversations. The effect was like charging a dead phone. It brought my mental resilience to a new level. You might think it sounds cheesy or unrealistic at first, but consistency made a huge difference in how I felt emotionally steady and ready for challenges. Start small. Pick one positive podcast or article today that lifts your spirits or teaches you something valuable. Our brains are like sponges, soaking up what we feed them, so choose wisely. After 7 days of practicing these simple shifts, my mind felt like a fortress, flexible but unbreakable, calm but alert, confident but humble. More importantly, I didn't have to try hard or be perfect. It felt natural because I rewired my daily habits and relationship with my thoughts. That's the real secret. Mental invincibility is less about grand, heroic effort and more about small, consistent changes that build momentum. Choose what resonates most and start today. Your future self will thank you. What mental challenge do you want to overcome first? Share it in the comments below, and let's hold each other accountable on this journey. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe so you won't miss what's next.